So here's Paul. He gives this message for 3 weeks. Some were persuaded, and a large number of God-fearing Greeks and a number of the leading women. So there's a fruitful harvest here. So the Jews get jealous, it says. They get jealous and they stir up some agitation. And I want to stop here for a moment and say this. You have to be careful. Sometimes this is what happens in churches. Not at this church, okay? But please, something new is taking place, and it's different from what we used to know, or the new service is getting more attention than the other service. So we got to shut down the new service. Or there's this new ministry that's getting more attention and financial emphasis. And so, well, that's not right. And the jealousy can become a tool used by Satan to shut down a new movement of God. And we have to be careful that we're not avenues for Satan to move through us. And so Paul, in verse 22, he begins a sermon. And here's a master at work, okay? First thing he does is he affirms with these guys. He says, I observe that you're very religious in all respects. Okay, he finds a connecting point. He doesn't stress their differences. I remember I moved in next door to a Presbyterian who was Presbyterian Church America. We're Presbyterian Church USA. So I meet him, oh, you're Presbyterian. Well, what kind are you? Well, USA. Well, we're American. You believe this, we believe that. You believe this, we believe that. You know, so I don't think he ever really talked to me again, you know, because I was the wrong kind of Presbyterian. That's not what Paul does. He finds a connecting point, and he goes on into the relationship. He goes into the relationship, and he acknowledges their search for Christ, for truth. And he finds an inlet. It's the unknown God. You have an idol to the unknown God? Well, I'm here to tell you about that God. That's what I'm here for. Okay? And the way he starts off is, he talks about the Creator. Okay? And it's kind of fun. He doesn't quote Hebrew scriptures with the Greeks. He uses the Greek poets. He uses their literature, their way of thinking, to talk to these people. He doesn't bring something foreign into their mindset. He uses their common language and their thoughts. And he talks about the Creator. I mean, let's think about it. All of us have the questions, where do we come from? Why am I here? Where am I going? You know, science tries to deal with where do we come from. Philosophy tries to deal with why am I here. But Christianity deals with all three. Where did I come from? Why am I here? Where am I going? And people get mad at Paul because he doesn't mention Jesus once. You know, he doesn't talk about the cross or anything with these academians. But he does get a little bit aggressive. In 29, he says, you know what? You're not going to find God by the art and thought of man. And he just summarized all their Greek philosophy. That's not the way you're going to find God. He says, God's going to overlook the times of ignorance. And the fact is, you need to repent. And because you're going to be judged. And this is the kind of preaching that doesn't go over too well today. When we tell somebody, you know what, you better change your evil ways, baby. Carlos Santana, come on. We really have to pay attention to our lives. We can't just live however we want to. Because the fact of the matter is, Jesus rose from the dead. He took care of sin on the cross, but he's going to deal with us. And if we're careless about our relationship with him, he'll honor our decision not to be in a relationship with him. He'll let us go our own way. And Paul's saying it's too important of a relationship to mismanage your eternal one with God. You can't find him through hard work. Okay? You find him because of all he's done for us. Well, verse 34, some men joined him. But everybody looks at this event and says this is one of Paul's biggest failures. And I don't think it's because Paul failed. I think it's because in the world of academia, and I've spent a lot of time in the world of academia, it's all about finding another way, the humanism way. When you go to the university, it's naturalism. And naturalism is an atheistic point of view. We get all excited. We go to the ghetto and we raise these kids up and we give them education and we send them to the university so that they can learn that God doesn't exist. That's what happens all the time. And in the world of academia, they have an agenda against God. They don't believe in the miraculous. They don't believe that there's a moral authority. And friends, I guess I just want to say, you and I are living in this world right now where the world of academia is setting the tone for society. And you and I, all we have to do is rise up and let the love of God move through us. And people are going to see the difference between people with God and people without God. And they're going to be attracted to God.